Welcome back viewers, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries and anyone with ears or other sound detection organs. Hope you enjoy. We are continuing with Chaos and Mayhem written by Lord Henry 7878. There is a link to the playlist in the doobly-doo. Chaos and Mayhem, a sexy space babes story part 43. The party was in full swing, and despite knowing he was full of shit, the Baron was enjoying himself. He went around and met all the old friends of the family. There was the Kakumo family. He didn't like them one bit, they were a little too misandrist for his liking. When he was still Chris Villain, of the Interior, he'd investigated the matriarch for connections to the Silver Suns back in the day. There was the Stelas clan. They were neat, though their talk of entertainment venues and tourism industries bored him to the Sea of Souls and back. The Kinakana family were interesting to talk to. Baron Stamatios milled around through his guests. Let's see. Oh. He hadn't met these ones at all. Well, look who it is, he said happily, striding over to them. He recognized these ones. The Desaris, right. The tall woman in a dress that almost achieved the standard set by the rest of the party-goers gasped in delight. Why yes, Baron. I'm delighted to meet you. I'm Thrysis Desari, and this is my husband Brilak. She motioned to a modestly dressed man just into his middle years, who smiled with just a touch of timidity. Tetras Stamatios, the Baron smiled. And the pleasure is mine. Wow, they were really young, weren't they? The couple bowed, the woman almost bending in half. I can't tell you how delighted I am to have caught your attention. My work with the social integration of the local populace is truly groundbreaking. I'm sure that if I have a chance to implement it on a broader scale, we can begin to make real progress in ushering humanity into the Imperium. I'd love to see that. Ruling over a red zone makes one long for any new method of understanding one's citizens. She nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. I've had the opportunity to speak with some of the prisoners of war, and I believe that empathy, along with a firm guiding hand, could pay big dividends in the long term. I've some ideas about how to help start to stabilize things in yellow and red zones, too. I'll have to hear them sometime, but I think it'll have to be after I make my speech. The Baron rolled his eyes theatrically. They expect one every year. Oh. Of course, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to keep you, Lord Stamatios. Thank you so much for your most gracious invitation, sir. And I do hope to speak with you again soon. The Baron simply gave a polite laugh as he pulled out an omnipad and reviewed his notes for the speech. We'll talk once I'm done. The Baron was genuinely interested. Alas, he had some business first. He quickly tapped a knife on his glass. Could I have everybody's attention, please? The crystalline tone cut through the din of conversation, and all eyes turned in their direction. Thrysis, her cheeks suddenly quite blue at finding herself adjacent to the center of attention, backed away from the Baron, making a space for him, and tugging Brilak after her. Oh goddess, this is amazing. He wants to talk more. Brilak merely smiled at her enthusiasm, and turned his attention to the Baron. So first of all, thank you all for coming. I know most of you were friends of the Baroness. I figured it would be a good idea to continue this tradition of hers. The Baron paused and took a drink of water. But there's something else I want to talk to you all about. Another drink of water. This was the moment of truth. The Stamatios family has always dealt in medicine, and the liberation of Earth was no exception. My wife began a program offering medical care to the people of the Maryland region. In return, these examinations allowed us a far greater understanding of biology. Shilvati, human, or otherwise. A murmur of interest ran through the crowd, and he had to contain a triumphant smile as he continued. We all remember the time of mourning, he continued. A tragedy that continues to haunt us even today. It taught us something. The low male birth rate is a simple fact. 8 women to every man, low fertility rates, lower birth rates. He resisted the urge to say, what a joke. That wouldn't be professional, would it? It's simply the case all across the galaxy, until now. Thanks to humanity, we now understand that the methods to improve our own birth rate are there, yes. They already exist within us, waiting to be activated. No need for genetic tampering. We were simply unaware of the hormonal signals to do it. The Baron took another sip of water. He may have started purity control simply to get his wife killed, but who knew? He may have done some good with it. Go figure. And there were countless businesswomen poised and waiting to spread this across the galaxy. Brillac gasped, hands going to his mouth in astonishment. Excited murmurs rippled through the crowd around him and thrysis as the claim settled on the listeners. The Baron felt this was a good time to let his triumphant smile out of its cage. Even now, the Stamatios Corporation is sharing the data with medical companies across the galaxy. Something like this isn't meant to be monopolized by one company. It's for the Imperium, not my bank accounts. He paused for a smattering of laughter to die away. Now eat. Drink. Be merry. That's a human saying, I think. Seemed appropriate. Cool. He wasn't even lying this time. The whole speech was truth. Do you know what this means? NYZ appeared from the surrounding crowd, her eyes wide. If I could get rights to distribute this therapy. Or maybe partner with a startup. The possibilities are endless, and the implications are staggering. This whole night is just, thrysis waved her hands, expansively. Beyond words.
I could hear the party, even from the dungeon. Motherfucking, titty-sucking, too bald bitch.
I snapped as I sliced my fingers open once again. I simply wouldn't accept that we were staying in here. The Baron had to die, and the more people that it happened in front of, the better. Thomas Sashin said softly. Thomas. You're hurting yourself. Give it a rest for a few hours. I was a little loath to see reason at this point, but Sashin was right. The locks were slick with my blood. Fuck it. You're right. I sat down and let the locks rest for a bit. Maybe I'm just not a locksmith. And maybe these aren't the kind of locks that can be smithed, Shrek pointed out. Who even builds a dungeon like this in a house? Hell if I know, I grumbled. Maybe it was an old jailhouse or some. I looked up. Somebody was fiddling at the door. I completely expected more chivalry, so imagine my surprise when a heavily armed man stood in the door. A heavily armed human man? Steinberg? He asked. I could see a few more out in the hall. Who's asking? The guy's getting you out of here. That was good enough for me. I ripped a strip of fabric off the shitty blanket the Baron had given us and wrapped my hand. It was always the hands. Who are they? The guy gestured to the cats. They are with me. They'd been a huge help. If I was getting out of here, they were coming too. The guy thought for a moment and shrugged. Yeah, that's fine. Everybody out. Yup, we all filed out. The guy passed me a shotgun with an enormous drum mag sticking out. I hung the sling off my shoulder and gave it a pump. We're moving on, the Baron? Of course. The guy nodded, and some other guys armed the kitties. As we filed out, I looked down and saw the guards. Their throats had been slit, and the floor was slick with their blood.
The sound of breaking glass danced across the din of conversation in the ballroom.
Party foul. Thry sis giggled as she leaned heavily on the wall. Somebody owes the Baron a fancy cup. Sweetie, I think you've had enough for one. Brilak's concerned smile turned into wide-eyed fear as several more crashes echoed through the hall, and shouting voices were heard. Baron Tetris Stamatios, a marine captain, said with her authority voice. Her name tag said Cosmonos. You are under arrest for unethical experimentation and exploitation of primitives. She was immediately cut off by the Baron's militia raising their weapons. The Marines raised their own in response. Oh Empress, what in the deeps is happening? Thry sis staggered upright, and pulled Brilak behind her. I had a real opportunity here. Why does this always happen to me? You're not the only one. NYZ spat, crowding in beside her, helping to shield their husband from whatever mess was happening. Goddess, I hope Lady Bleen doesn't get shot. She seemed like she was interested in a venture. All the noise was drowned out in a deafening boom. Everybody looked to one end of the dining hall, where a cluster of masked human men stood. Some had their guns leveled at the crowd. One held his weapon to the sky. This one didn't have a mask, but some in the crowd wished he had. His face was crisscrossed with scars and burns. Baron Stamatios. The man bellowed. You thought you could just be rid of me, huh? I'm gonna kill you, you little blue prick. Oh yeah, he was angry. By the way, you touch my cousin and I will personally drag you back from hell to kill you again, you hear? The Marine captain looked at the human. Steinberg. Captain K. Pleasure. Who the thunk we'd be meeting as we prepare to assassinate yet another official? A few of the guys looked at him. I'll explain later. Oh fuck. Thry sis crouched down, dragging both of her family members with her. They've got guns. Yeah, oh fuck. Where's that strategic empathy of yours, NYZ whispered hoarsely as they crawled towards a half-empty refreshments table. Maybe you can get the nice murderous resistance fighter to play tea party with the Baron. The door immediately blew open and a number of armed soldiers burst in, this time in the uniform of an interior tactical response team. They immediately crowded around the Baron. Oh look, Captain K said, not at all amused. It's the Baron's personal bitches in the interior. How many of you are on his payroll? I thought I cleared you all out. You didn't clear anyone out, one said. You simply pointed fingers. There was no evidence of anything. We do have a warrant for your arrest though. She sounded way too chipper for this. You disappeared that evidence. Cosmonos snapped. Okay, this is getting ridiculous, the scarred human, presumably Steinberg, said. Shut up, the shill officers yelled. Bitch, I will bite your face off. Peeking out from under a pastel pink tablecloth, NYZ glanced over at Thry sis. You wanna try talking down the interior, too? Shut up. Thry sis glared back. Amidst all the arguing, nobody noticed a ceiling panel sliding back, or a rope dropping down. They did notice the armed commandos sliding down. Oh fucking shit. Even under her helmet, it was obvious Captain Cosmonos was rolling her eyes. Great fucking timing, guys. Here, the interior agents protecting the Baron looked around. Looks like the Baron isn't the only one with agents on his payroll. Allegedly. That made everybody roll their eyes.
Come on, we're getting out of here. Thry sis crouched low as she moved out from under the table.
They've got the doors covered, but there's a window just over there. Are you insane? Brilak hissed, still curled into a ball under the tablecloth. It's closed. We can't get out that way. Not for long, Thry sis nodded to NYZ, and they both took one side of the serving table, lifted it off the cowering form of Brilak, and hurled it at the window. The humans' heads all snapped towards the source of the crash. How many people did you invite to this damn party? Steinberg snarled as the humans lifted their guns and immediately started shooting in that direction. The agents on the Baron's payroll immediately snapped their guns up to open fire on the humans. The agents on Rishi Kosmanov's payroll were faster. They poured fire into their sisters in the interior. Baron Stamacio's militia started shooting at the other agents, thankful for the help that the Baron's spies were lending them, and not about to let that go to waste. The Marines all started shooting at the militia. It seemed the right thing to do. Oh goddess! We broke a window. Yup. NYZ gripped the steering wheel with grim determination, trying to drown out the crack of primitive gunfire as it slowly receded into the distance. We broke a table. Yup. Sis winced as the car bounced through the gates of the Stamacio's manor house. My suit is ruined. Sorry. The two women winced in unison. Brilac's voice rose an octave. Are you bleeding? It's fine. Sis' attempt at reassurance was undercut by a grunt of pain as the car hit another bump. It's just my ass, I don't need that. Oh goddess. Brilac gripped the backs of the seats, hyperventilation in full swing. Are you going to die? No, I'm not going to off. Sis and NYZ both flinched away as Brilac emptied his stomach onto the floor of the car. Well, you were right about one thing, Sis. NYZ glanced over from the driver's seat. We're not going to forget this night anytime soon. End of chapter. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss any episode and do all the other YouTube stuff, visit and support the author, all the relevant links are in the doobly-doo, and comment your opinions, good or bad. And I'll see you next time. And as usual, have a wonderful day.